taxi driver. It is freezing cold. Thank goodness for central heating inside of the airport. I'm about to leave to go to Costa Rica, and luckily today I did more than I expected to do. I ended up actually uploading a new course and this one's mobile compatible. You click on the actual video itself, let me see, and you have to put the password in there in the video. It's nice, it's much more mobile friendly. It's a shadow integration and trauma healing course. It's very powerful. It allows you to see your problems and or people, including yourself, your insecurities and so forth, from 162 specific perspectives, okay? 162 different angles of looking at your life and your situations. It makes it much more easier to forgive people, or at least come to the understanding of what true forgiveness actually is. When you're actually looking at someone and you think, you know what, it's fine. Put the light on so you can actually see my face. There we go, I'm pretty excited. I haven't eaten all day, I hardly eat anyway, but I was excited to upload the course and to go to Costa Rica, and it's built up throughout the entire day. And when you don't eat hardly anything, your energy goes really high, and I'm kind of split between being crazy nervous for people who are going to buy that course, including for my travels. I think I covered everything. There shouldn't be any hiccups. So now I'm gonna go downstairs, I'm gonna sit down on my stairs and wait for the taxi driver. So the guy has dropped me off far away from the entrance and it's freezing cold, so now I'm gonna have to zip up my bag and I'm gonna put my camera in there actually, and the next time you see me I'll be in Costa Rica. The entrance is over there, somewhere, way over there. Here, 51A. And this is the room. Got a decent sized bed, a nice painting of a traveller. Inside joke. They brought my luggage up for me with salt crystal right there, or salt lamp. I guess I can work there. Cool art illustrations. Nicely polished, real smooth. Yeah, I've got to go do a medical. They need to fill out some forms with me so that they know for sure that I can do the plant medicine. This is a decent size. There's the safe. That's where I keep my documents. If I can get it open. She said there's a reset button on the back. I'll have to hack into that later on. Oh, well, in love. One of those bowl sinks. She told me, the woman I'd just spoken to, that these were all healthy for you. No crud in there. House? And you've got this lovely shower, which is pretty decent. I know what I'll do. I'll put my shaver on charge while I'm out getting the checkup. Oh, and also, this is a paperless toilet, they said. Kind of confused. Do I flush? When it flushes. Paperless. If I go for a poo, I use this paper, I gotta throw it in here. Gave us these bracelets, and apparently each bead is supposed to represent something that we want to put down. We have to go outside to a maze, just somewhere over there. And what we're going to have to do is we have to walk around this maze. And while we walk around the maze, if we get towards the center, we pick up a rock, and it's supposed to represent one of these beads, ergo one of the things that we have to let go of before we do the ceremony, plant medicine ceremony. And then when we get to the middle of the maze, we put the rock and what it represents in the middle, and then by the time we walk away from the maze, that's it. We leave whatever it is behind so that we can actually have the retreat and be calm. Yeah. In the back we have got some tokens, and these tokens will help me access the facilities, what do you call it? Little perks. We got some herbal support therapy that is literally the tea that shall not be named. We got the massage services. But I'm not sure, I'm still quite torn on this. I don't like it when people touch me. It's not like a trauma thing, it's literally, I feel their energy. If you've seen my advice video, you know all about that. And I wasn't even touching her. Another cleanse. These cleanses, these tokens, these are for your colon. Colonoscopy? I can't pronunciate
colonoscopy.
that word, but basically they flush your intestines up with water, which is great. It's like a hydration therapy. I'm going to use that definitely. And there's another one for that. So yeah, that's what I got in store for this week.
So the way this medicine works then, the guy comes up and he'll put his chair here, like this, and your head is here, your feet are there, and he sits behind you, like this. And he started, now I have big blindfolds on, that like a high beam can't get through. And he starts putting his finger on my forehead like this. And I'm thinking, what is this banana doing? What's this guy doing to me? You know? And he said, tell me when you see your finger. And I'm like, fuck, I got these, and then, before I even said it, I got these things, I see this guy's finger. So I grabbed my eyes and I'm like, I have these blindfolds on. I'm watching this guy's finger hit my head, and it's making waves. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but it's making waves right there against my head. And I never saw anything that I couldn't explain my whole life. And in that second, I was just blown away because I kept going up and kept feeling them and kept feeling them. And I said, dude, I see your finger. And he goes, good man. He goes, how many I got up now? And I, it's clear as day, just like this. I said, 3. And he said, good man. Now look at the ceiling. And I looked, and there, I saw the ceiling and the bamboo and stuff. And he said, now make it disappear. And I just made it disappear. And he said, do you see the stars? And I said, yeah. And there was a ton of stars. He said, pick a star. So I picked the brightest one. And he said, jump to it, but don't think about it, which is a confusing thing.
So I've been at this retreat for the past 2 days, and if there's one thing that I could definitely tell you guys for sure, is that I've already had quite a breakthrough without me having to take the plant medicine. I'll tell you why. Okay, now, first thing that took me by surprise was that there was already a group here, and the group that was already here had already spent a week on did it again, on plant medicine, on the tea. And while they were drinking the tea, they were forming a connection with each other. They were throwing up, they were crapping their pants, and a lot of stuff was coming up, a lot of traumatic expressions of their psyche, traumatized expressions of their soul, shadow aspects of themselves were yelling, and it causes them to be very comfortable within the ceremony with each other. They've seen the darkest aspects of themselves, and because of that they felt more connected. Not only that, but because they're doing what they offer here at Rythmia, the breath work and the food court where all the juices are as well, and they're going to the day spa and having colonics, and you know, the activities that are here, that's giving them the opportunity to connect to people who they otherwise wouldn't have had met anywhere else in the world. It's like this is a hub for people who are spiritual, as Jerry liked to call it earlier, light workers and warrior something. I show up, and I'm not used to seeing people so connected before at all. Like I've said before in my previous videos, people don't know how to treat each other. Not really. That aspect of life is very familiar to most of us. And I've never experienced anything other than that, because I've never been put in an environment where there were people who had healed already, who basically weren't carrying a bunch of stuff. But I showed up here, met the last group who dropped all their stuff, and they embraced me as one of their own, which was very strange. I've never had that before. I've always felt out of place. And so due to my circumstance, it kind of allowed me to realize that such a thing is possible, that there are people who literally love you as much as you love yourself, because I've also been doing meditations recently to love myself even more. I've been talking to myself in specific ways, and I've been keeping vlogs on that, and it's real deep. It's to do with the rice experiment. I don't want to go too much off track on this Rythmia vlog, but it does a lot for you. So I left my house before flying over here to Costa Rica, feeling all loved up, feeling perfect, right? Feeling great. I do a lot of shadow work all the time, and I astral project, and I'm pretty weird already. But they got a thing here where they've got people that show up who claim to know it all already, and they don't like people like that. So I know I don't know everything, but I know a lot. But it feels like I can't even express that without seeming arrogant or like I know it all. So I'm just trying to keep my mouth shut, but it's difficult because you guys know me. I've projected. I came into the world intact. Yeah, I split my soul, but then I died, came back, and I integrated everything to the best of my ability. So it's like I've come in under the radar, and people assume that I'm new to this. I've only met one person who's seen me on YouTube, and so I'm being treated as if I'm separate, split up and everything like that, until I tell them what I do. But then, you know, I can feel something's not right there when I do that, and it's just becoming a little bit of a problem, you know. Probably more on that later. Anyway, so I'm keeping my mouth closed a little bit, and I've spoken to some people about who I am because they've asked, only when they ask, or only when they talk about something that I know I can help them with. And what else? So much has happened. One afternoon, and due to my circumstances, I felt accepted and loved and part of a community for the first time in my entire life, by people, mind you, who weren't projecting anything. And then the next day, they all went, and I was on my own again, back to how I usually feel, you know, after having this experience which I thought could never exist. And then I started seeing one by one the new members of the group showing up to this retreat, and I could feel their anxiousness, I could feel their anxiety, I could feel the stuff they're carrying, I could feel the awkwardness that you feel when you don't know anyone. It wasn't freely movable, we weren't talking as much. I tried to make conversations, it just get weird. So it's like I was given everything, and then it's just gone. But I remain hopeful, because after seeing what the last group kind of evolved into, I know for a fact this group is going to evolve like that. Their mind's going to evolve like that, who they are. They're going to be more free-spirited, and they're going to be able to connect to each other just like the last group did. So right now I'm just like excited for that. Today's the first day that we take out the tea and start bonding properly, you know? It's pretty cool. Gave us these bracelets, and apparently each bead is supposed to represent something that we want to put down. So I knew what to do, but because I had done it so much before every night, I didn't have anything to put down. So it took me some days to pick up a rock and think, okay, I get the symbology behind this. I get what you're supposed to do, you know, shelving a problem, kind of putting it away for a while. I study psychology, I know what that does, and yet I couldn't come up with anything. I picked up a stone and I tried the ritual, but it didn't work out for me. But despite that, I still picked it up and decided to try and come up with something to put down whilst I was walking through the labyrinth. And then it kind of just like a bolt of lightning just went straight through my head, the reality of what I was doing. I stood in a labyrinth. I had my hair like this, split, you know, like that. And I was like, wow. Taurus, my star sign. I'm in a labyrinth, you know? One of those synchronicities I talk about when I go to these manifestations. That's another thing, guys. This friend, he was part of the last group that I mentioned. We hit it off. We formed a connection like that. And what would have otherwise taken me years, and has taken me years within the past, to form that connection with other people in school, we established that in like under a few minutes. And then at one point I felt like I was going to cry because there was this other guy, right? And we met down one of the pathways to go to the medical bit, because I stood on a rock when I went to the beach. I was invited to the beach by the last group as well. A bunch of women just decided to pay for me, which was awesome. And I'm in this medical center asking for a plaster. And he comes in with me and he hangs around. I'm like, he wants to be here? Like, you know, he wants to be around me? Like, it just sparked the memory of when I was a kid and I was making friends, you know, with toddlers, because I was a toddler. And we would go do things like, you want to go shop? Yeah, let's go to a shop. And my friend would just sit there and wait for me, you know? It was years since I've experienced that kind of connection where someone would actually want to spend time with me and just be there for me. It was really, it was something pretty big. But I hadn't even taken the yet, you know? And I got a little choked up for a sec when I was realizing that, just watching him, waiting, and just, you know, looking around the room. So what Rythmia has done for me so far is it's shown me that community is something that everyone wants. It's something that people can miss without really noticing they've missed it. It's just something that fades away out of their life as they grow up. And it leaves an impression on you, which you don't really realize is there until someone like this guy shows up and waits for you, you know? So, yeah, it's pretty brilliant here. I met one of the teachers here. Well, I've met most of the teachers here now. And I'm helping her out with her YouTube channel. She does yoga here. She wants to start getting into social media. So I'm going to be interviewing her at some point. She lives on the actual property here. And I'm also going to be interviewing Jerry. He is the founder of this place, of Rythmia. Yeah, he's got a good story. I shot his story in one of the conference rooms, but he swears a lot, and I'm pretty sure it's going to get removed from YouTube for violation purposes. I'll edit the video, take little clips, put it on YouTube, and I will leave the majority of what he was talking about over on my website, because I'll use a different video hosting program where people can't flag it for inappropriate language. And then after you've seen that which I've recorded, you can then watch the rest of his story on other links to his social media, and I'll give you guys links to find out his full story. If you're a subscriber of me already, you've probably seen his story, you know, because it's in a video. The documentary video that I've actually posted, it's a full documentary that was shot by their own people here. Yeah. So today's the day. Today's the first day where I take the tea. I have been eating too much here. I have been. Usually I hardly eat anything, but I started eating what they had here to review their food. And then I found myself slipping into old habits that I actually put down a long time ago. Because once you put things down, they don't stay down. If your mind thinks that it needs to pick something up again because it's appropriate for the situation, it will. And I found myself eating because everyone else was eating, but more importantly because I wanted to use it as an excuse to converse with them and to relate to them so that I can better build a connection. I did this the day after everyone left because I missed them, you know? So it's like, I'm just noticing that way of adapting to new social programs, new social society constructs of social dynamics and how to deal with that. Because once you deal with your food problems at home by yourself, it's a different thing when you're in other situations. Like I said, if the circumstance is different, my circumstance was I wanted to get a connection with these people as soon as possible. The circumstance really was based on the fact that I knew they were going to connect throughout the week and I wanted to rush that along with me and them, but we had yet to take in the tea. So the circumstance threw me into finding an excuse to eat more than normal. And it's these circumstances that I cannot foresee that will come about, I'm sure, throughout my life, and I'm constantly gonna have to update myself and think, okay, there's no point eating if I'm not really hungry. Find ways around that, and that's what I've been doing today. I haven't really been doing much of what everyone else does because I've noticed it kind of affects my psychology quite a bit, and I'm starting to really ground myself in who I am, what I am mainly, what I am, and putting myself back to my own morals, my own way of thinking. You know, carrying myself and kind of being somewhat separate, but at the same time being a part of everything that's going on here, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna go now and try some tea, get to know some more people. I just had a lovely mud bath whilst I was speaking to my brother over on Facebook, and I was also speaking with some of the people here. They were all covered in mud. It was pretty fun there. They got a nice sauna here, and I've still got a week to show you guys these things. This is just a quick update, and I'll speak to you pretty soon. Peace.